allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can we get a roll call, please, Belinda?
Yes, you may. Blair?
Here.
Broughton?
Here.
DePalma is late but gave us notice. Marshall?
Here.
Thurman?
Here.
Unruh?
Present.
Rumble?
Here. All right, we're looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Thank you, Bob and Kathy. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us right into our public hearing for CDBG funds.
So for our 2021 program year CDBG funds, we are looking to reprogram them. There was money left over from the DEC project, and the public hearing is to hear if people are opposed to the project or in favor of the project. We are looking to reallocate those funds to buy Knox boxes for the fire department.
Okay. So do we need a motion to open this public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for CDBG program year 2021.
Second.
Thank you, Steve and Kathy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any public here that would like to comment on the CDBG funds? Okay, seeing none, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on CDBG program year 2021 funds.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
Sorry, who seconded that?
Steve.
Steve, thank you.
Yep. All right, that brings us right into our audit presentation, Ken.
Good evening, Kim.
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to appear again here tonight to present the annual audit. This is for the year ending December 31st, 2023. I appreciate all the help that we received from staff and the officials while we were out here. And I also want to thank and just give a lot of kudos to Melissa, who did an excellent job as your well, she's been here for a few years now, but every year she gets better and better at this job. So she has everything prepared for us. She's out here the whole time that we're here and is very good at answering all of our questions and gets things done relatively quickly. So we really appreciate her help. Overall, the township is still in good financial condition. There's one two-page letter that I just wanted to discuss, or maybe 3 pages. It's the letter that we call the management letter. Another name is comments and recommendations. We had basically three comments. 2 of those comments, as you know, are material weaknesses that we've brought up for the several years we've been doing your audit. And it's something that the board understands and knows that's out there because you are such a small township. One of those being you don't have somebody on staff that can actually write the financial statements, if you will. So you pay our firm to write the financial statements as well as do the audit, which probably 95% of our municipal clients have us do it that way. So, and the state of Michigan understands the comment and they have no problem with it. The second material weakness is the fact that you receipt monies in various places in the township. It's not all being receipted at the treasurer's office. And again, that's another comment that's very common. You do it that way for the convenience of your residents. So we understand it, the state understands it, so it's not a problem, but we do have to mention that it is in your report. The third comment this year is a small one, but something that we do have to mention is the fact that you did not approve a budget for your general designated fund, which is where the ARPA monies were kept for the year. Quite a few of our townships didn't do that. However, you are supposed to because it is what they call a special revenue fund. So it's something that just got overlooked when you guys put the budgets together, okay? You didn't have a whole lot of activity as far as spending going out of there for the year, so it's not like you went way over any kind of spending approvals or anything like that. Any questions on that first part of the report?
And that's actually on the budget tonight to do that, right? That's what
Okay, good. The next report, let's look at your numbers, and if we could pull out the big books. And the first thing I just wanted to mention to the board is your audit opinion. And I think I've brought this up in the past before, but it's the report that's right after your table of contents. And this is what we call the independent auditor's report, and this is really what you're paying our firm for. It's giving an opinion on the financial statements, and we are once again saying it's a non-qualified opinion. Your numbers are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that's what outside readers want to see. So you're good on that side there. The state of Michigan looks at that, and they basically set it aside, and everything's good for Brandon Township, unless they spot something themselves, but it's nothing that we know that's out of the ordinary. If you flip the next page, we're going to look at some of your numbers for the township as a whole, and that's on page 23. And this is a recap of the governmental funds for the whole year, and it starts out with your general fund, your other major funds, which was your designated general fund, police, and then all of your non-major funds. And then the column to the right is your component unit, the fire department. So as you can see, the grand total of your governmental funds themselves, looking towards the bottom of the page, your net change in fund balance, overall the township had a surplus of $885,470. Okay? Your general fund has almost $4.6 million in it, and that includes all of your designated earmarked funds. Your ARPA fund had just under $93,000 as a fund equity. It has about $1.3 million in cash in that fund. Your police fund was just under $1.7 million, and then all of your other funds put together, you have several of them, was just over $257,000. So that brings your total fund balance without the fire department to $6.6 million. The last column shows your fire department. And the fire department, when you take their 4 funds and put them all together, they had a surplus of just over $402,000. See, the township, as I said, is in very good financial condition. Is there anything that you'd like to discuss or talk about on any of that? You guys are being too easy on me tonight.
Thanks, Ken.
Why don't we just take a quick look over at your footnotes. Page 40, let's just talk a little bit about your legacy costs, your pension and your OPEB. Page 40 shows that your net liability for pension went from $3,365,000 to $2.7 million. So you knocked it down quite a bit. And a big part of that was all of your investment income that came in. Okay, it was a good year in the market. So it was the opposite of the prior year. As far as OPEB goes, page 44, you went from a net liability of just under $598,000 down to almost $251,000. So again, another good decrease against your net liability. Okay. Any discussion on any of that? No? Okay. Next page, let's go to, is your general fund budget, and that's on page 57. And this shows all of your variances between your budget and your actual, for the most part, are all positive. You did not have any negative variances in your expenditures. So in other words, everything that you spent came in under budget in your general fund. So your total expenditures were $2,300,781, and you had budgeted $2,751,000. So you had a positive variance of $450,000 there. And then your revenues came in $384,000 higher than what you had budgeted. So you put those numbers together, and overall your positive variance was $834,000 when you compared to your budget. Okay? So it was good to see that none of your expenditure activities went over budget. Is there anything else in the big book that you guys would like to take a look at? We have what I call the coloring books. If we could at least go through a few of these pages. Does everybody have their reports?
They're on my desk. but
Oh,
It should be known.
We've already looked through them.
Yeah.
We already met with
yeah,
Ken.
we
met
did
with
have a
Ken
meeting, but I wanted to
previously.
make sure we went through the reports
Yep.
for the audience sake. The first coloring book that I like to go through is just a general township, all of their pictures. And the first graph is a pie chart of your revenues. And as you can see, the biggest portion is your state grants, or really the name is state shared revenues, which comes from your sales taxes. And that was $1,655,000. As you can see, that's probably about 60% of your revenues that come in. You can see the rest of the revenues there, taxes, charges for services, licenses and permits. Your investment income came in over $320,000, which was good to see. It's nice to see the townships are actually starting to make some money on their money. I think the treasurer would agree with that one. Your expenditures, you can see the bar graph there. Page 3 is a comparison of your fund balance of the general fund. And this is like my favorite graph here because it compares all the way back to 2006. And you can see at one time, you guys had less than $100,000 in your fund balance. Yeah, I remember some of those years, especially back in 2008, and you guys were just scraping the barrel. Now you're up to $4.5 million with all of your earmarked funds. Page 4 is a comparison of the fund balance again, but we put both the operating fund and your designated fund in there. So the yellow portion of the bar represents your designated portion, and then the green is the general operating fund. So you can see that's just over the 4.5 million with the earmarks in there. Page 5 is a comparison of your revenues and expenses all the way back to 2009. And for the most part, the township has enjoyed the revenues exceeding expenses in order to take those surpluses and be able to earmark those funds for future capital expenditures, things that only occur every once 4 or 5 years. The last chart in here is a pie chart that shows all of your expenditures for the township. So we've got the police operations, we have the fire and ambulance operations, general operations, the parks operations, all of the things that the township spends money on, and that's just over 8.4 million. So when the resident comes in and says, well, what are you really doing for us here? This would be the chart to show them. See where your resources go. The next coloring book I'd like to take a look at here, or go over with you real quickly, is your fire department. And I thought it'd just be good to see where the operations have gone. Now, the fire department divvies things up between regular operations, E&H, equipment and housing, the ambulance section, and then their contributions. So as auditors, we take those 4 funds and put them all together and combine them. And that's where we come up with these graphs here. So you look at your total revenues for the fire operating fund itself. You had just over 2.4 million, most of that being from the assessment that the township levies for the fire department. The second graph is a pie chart of your E&H fund, and total revenues were just over 689,000. Most of that, again, being the assessments that get levied for the fire department. Next one is your fire ambulance fund, which shows all of your revenue from here is coming in from the charges for services, except for the investment income, which was just under 17,000, and then other revenues that came in just over $12,000. At least it gives you a different perspective as far as where things are coming from. Your fire operating fund, again, we have a comparison of the revenues and the expenses. And again, for the most part, your revenues have exceeded the expenditures in the fire operating fund. The 5th page is your comparison of fire E&H. And as you would suspect, this is more of a roller coaster effect because of the years that you go out and buy some big pieces of capital equipment, your fire trucks, tankers, those sorts of things. Your fire ambulance fund, page 6. Again, a comparison of revenues and expenses, and it's good news, your revenues typically exceed your expenses. The chief's doing a good job over there. And then we put all of your fire funds together. As you can see, in '22, you took a little bit of a dip because of some heavy capital expenditures. And then this year, it came back up again to just go over 2.5 million in your overall fund balance. And then the rest of the graphs are just comparisons of the fund balance for each individual fire fund. Are there any questions, comments on any of this?
Good job, Ken. We appreciate all the work that you
Oh, you
and
bet.
your team do for us.
All right, thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
All right,
you.
thank you, everyone.
All right, that brings us into our reports, and we have the treasury report, we have the general ledger report, our designated fund report, building department report, and if you notice there, we're up to 11 new builds already for this year and only had 12 last year, so we're doing really well this year. All right, and then that brings us to the recreation report, and that's just in here. John's on vacation this week, so. And then the Edna Burton Senior Center. Faye, do you have anything?
So, we have not got the paper newsletters out yet. I called them this morning, and they had some technical difficulties. So, hopefully, they didn't come in today, but hopefully they will come in tomorrow. So,
How many of those do you send out?
705 this time. And we do probably close to 300 emails,
Okay.
between 253. So, but we were going to be going to the Oakland County Fair on Senior Day. We're going to be going to the Detroit Zoo on Senior Day. So most of these things just cost them the transportation. Oakland County Fair, they have a pancake breakfast for the seniors. So, and then the Detroit Zoo, all they have to do is buy their lunch. They get in free. We are going to, over to Independence Oaks. They are having a senior community day at the, and we'll have a pass, so we don't have to pay for entrance, because they will give it to us for free. And it'll cost them $14, and that includes their transportation, a hot dog, beverage, chips, stick archery, which I'm assuming it just has something like Velcro or something so that nobody gets their eyes poked out. Lawn games, horseshoes, pontoon rides. So we had a lot of different things planned for the seniors this summer and fall. So other than that,
Thank you,
That's
Faye.
Thanks, Faye.
Thank you.
All right, trustee reports. Kathy, we'll start down there.
On June 21st, the Retirement Oversight Committee subcommittee met, and our retiree health care is now 91% funded, which is awesome. Because when I started, it was at 7%, so we really made a lot of headway on that. And we discussed possible recommendations to start spending the interest from the retiree healthcare funding vehicle, but nothing's been decided at this point. So they'll, next year we'll look into that again. And I hope everyone will take time to enjoy the fireworks show at the Brandon Middle School and the food trucks at the high school on July 3rd. And everyone have a happy Independence Day.
All right, Steve.
Last week I met with Ken to go over this budget in depth. He was very gracious and spent a lot of time with me since my background is not finance or accounting, he did it real simple. So it's really happy to understand that we are under budget from what we have projected. And then I met with the Planning Commission, and we have, looks like a bee farm coming into our community. And was kind of interesting to learn how bees are, and honey is processed. And everybody have a happy 4th.
Thank you, Steve. Bob?
Have a happy 4th, everybody, and safe 4th. John's not here, is he?
No, he's not.
All right, so the committee for September Fest met, and I have to say, kudos to John and his staff, because they're doing a really nice job of organizing everything. and getting everything together, and hopefully everything will run nice and smooth for the actual event, day of the event. That was it.
All right, thank you, Bob. Dana?
I'm part of the Retirement Oversight Committee, but Kathy already went over that, so I don't need to go over that. I did miss the June meeting and the Parks and Rec Subcommittee meeting in June due to a death in my family. So, and then September Fest, I was at the May meeting, and like Bob said, John's doing a great job on that. And I think that's about it, really.
All right, thank you, Dana. Treasurer?
Tax bills are out in the wild again. If you don't receive it by a week from Monday, give our office a call. If you're not on escrow. If you're on escrow, you don't get a tax bill.
All right, thank you, Scott. Rosalind?
Good evening. Thank you for attending the board meeting for Brandon Township. Movie night in Crossman's Park was a good turnout. It was great to see a lot of the families. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Parks and Rec for hosting this event. Ballots went out to the post office on June 27th, 2024. So ballots should be arriving or will be arriving soon to your mailbox. Early voting for the primary for Brandon Township will take place here at our township offices. Early voting will start on Saturday, July 27th and run through August 4th. The hours for early voting are 9 to 5, except for Wednesday, they will be from noon to 8 p.m. Election day is going to be August 6th, 2024. The polls are open from 7 a.m. and they close at 8 p.m. Please keep in mind that you can now bring your absentee ballot to the early voting site or to the precinct on election day and feed your voted ballot through the tabulator. Brandon Township's ballot is two-sided, so please be sure to check both sides of the ballot. For this election, it is very important that you stay in your lane when you vote. Pick a party and stay in that selection only. If you vote in more than one party selection, your partisan ballot will be rejected. So just keep that in mind when you go to vote.
Okay, thank you. For me, supervisor's report, I just want to say good luck to all the kids participating in the 4-H fair starting this week, including my daughters. I've had a great time this month at the farmers market and the Eats in the Streets event put on by the DDA in the last month, and then also had a great time talking and volunteering and meeting all the residents that came out to the Township Cleanup Day 2 weekends ago. It was good to see the turnout there, and we have another event in September for that as well. And then I'm looking forward to attending the Ortonville fireworks with my family again and the food trucks, and so happy 4th of July to everybody. Re-graveling projects have started. Of the approximate 7 miles we're doing of dirt road this year, the first road that was done was Perry Lake Road south of Seymour to Oak Hill. And then also chloriding program has started as well. We do still have some mosquito products left available to residents in the supervisor's office. You can stop by and pick those up. And that's it for right now. So that brings us into our correspondence. And we have the Parks and Rec Subcommittee meeting minutes of June 12th, 2024. And that brings us to our first citizens' comments. Is there any citizens that have any comments on agenda items only the first time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Nothing under discussion. That brings us to our consent agenda. We have regular meeting minutes of June 3rd, special meeting minutes of June 11th, regular bills in the amount of $4,563.50, and prepays in the amount of $434,311.05. So we're looking for a motion to approve the consent
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. And Melinda, we'll do a roll call on this, please.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Palma?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes, motion carries. All right, no unfinished business. That brings us right into our new business. And the first thing we have is the acceptance of the 2023 audit report that Ken had met with us all last week and just presented again to us. So you have the motion before you.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2023 audit report as presented.
I'll second.
Steve, thank you, Kathy. Any further discussion? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes, motion carries. And that brings us to our revenue replacement funds motion. There are two motions here, and these are in correlation to what Ken talked about earlier. So Melissa and Ken and I came up with these motions. So we're looking to make these two motions to move the revenue replacement funds to where they need to be in the budget.
I'll make a motion to move the revenue replacement funds from Fund 103 committed designated into Fund 101 general operating fund of 1,341,648 to be used for reimbursement of general services incurred during the years of 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 to amend the 2024 budget for Fund 103 committed designated transfer to General Fund 103-964-995.529 in the amount of $1,341,648 and Fund 101 General Operating Transfer from designated 101-000-699.529 in the amount, again, of $1,341,648.
Thank you, Steve.
I wonder if we could have Steve.
Who came up with that?
I wonder if we could have Steve repeat that.
Didn't anybody not get that?
I'll second the motion.
It's called as presented.
As presented. That's why we have as
I
presented.
probably could have done that, but
All right, any other questions? Okay, Belinda, can we roll call that, please?
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes, motion carries. And then you have the second part of that motion, which is motion 2.
A much easier one.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Okay, I'll make a motion to designate $648 of the general operating fund balance toward infrastructure.
I'll second that.
All right, any questions? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes, motion carries. Now we are finally done with that. Okay, so that brings us to our renewal of our safety path and property maintenance contract. I did ask them to only give us a one-year one. They've been started the season with an expired contract.
Ken, you don't need to stick around.
Oh, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, sir.
So we're looking to do only a one-year contract because we have the intention of having a maintenance department in the future next year, and I plan on budgeting for that for next year. So motion 1 and motion 2 are on here. Motion 1 is for the safety path, and motion 2 is for the township properties, and they are attached. The contracts are attached for your pleasure. So we're looking for a motion.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to award the Township Safety Path Maintenance Contract to Chestnut Outdoor Services LLC beginning immediately and ending April 2025, and allow the supervisor and clerk to sign the contracts.
Second.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes. Motion carries. And then we're looking for the same motion for the township properties.
I'll make a motion to award the township properties contract to Chestnut Outdoor Services LLC beginning immediately and ending December 31st, 2024, and allow the supervisor and clerk to sign the contracts.
Thank you, Steve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Roll call, please, Belinda?
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes. Motion carries. All right, now we have the same thing for the snow plowing and salting contracts, again for 1 year as well, and that is for the township offices and the senior center.
I'll make a motion to award the township offices snow plowing salting contract to Chestnut Outdoor Services LLC beginning immediately and ending April 1st, 2025.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that. Any questions? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes. Motion carries, and then the last one is the senior center snow plowing.
I can make the motion to award the senior center snow plowing and salting contract to Chestnut Outdoor Services LLC beginning immediately and ending April 1st, 2025.
Second.
All right. Any questions? No? Roll call, please.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Trumbull.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, the next one is Septemberfest. This came up in the Septemberfest planning meeting, and the group is asking they wanted to give business owners their spot in front of their business for free. But I told them that needed to come to the board because that's really a board decision because Septemberfest is our event. So this is in front of you. We are wanting to give the business owners a free space in front of their shop as long as they're using it. If they're not using it, we are going to sell it to somebody else. So that is what this is asking for.
Okay. I'll make a motion to waive the vendor fee during Septemberfest for any business in downtown Ortonville, provided they officially register 30 days prior and participate in a similar fashion to the other vendors during the entirety of the event.
I'll
Go ahead
second.
and second.
What?
I was going to second that motion.
All right. Sorry, Steve, we're giving that to Ross.
Dana, too.
Oh, I didn't hear
Roll
you.
the tape
Sorry.
back.
I heard Dana.
All right. Any other
I heard
questions?
Dana.
Did you? I didn't hear Dana at all. Sorry.
I heard you, Dan.
Thank you, Bob.
I heard you.
Thank you.
All right. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Trumbull.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. And then this was next one is the accelerated tax foreclosure process. This was a request from the Oakland County Treasurer in dealing with abandoned properties. They are recommending that we institute this, and I gave this to Stuart to review and prepare the resolution. So this is a motion to approve the resolution.
I had a question.
Okay.
Is it our building official that inspects the abandoned properties and posts the notice?
Yep.
That's who does it?
Yep. The building department. Yes. Yep.
Okay, because, our building official is not our building inspector, or is he now?
Yeah. Yes.
He is now, okay. At one point, they weren't the same person, so I wasn't sure. Okay, thank you.
But this is more driven by
County.
County.
tax delinquency versus just blighted property.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
It's abandoned property.
So then the county.
It allows the county to foreclose quicker.
The county gets a hold of you to,
They alert us of all available properties that, they go out of their way to try to make sure that they're not kicking anybody out of their properties. But when they're abandoned and nobody wants them, then they want to
Move
speed
it.
up the process.
They don't want us to have to wait the 3 years
Right.
if it's
Right.
been abandoned
Right.
for a year already.
yeah,
Right.
seems like a good idea.
It is.
So,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for certification of abandoned and tax delinquent property for accelerated forfeiture as presented.
I'll support.
all right, Dana, I got you that time.
I heard you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Can we get a roll call, please?
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Trumbull.
Yes. Motion carries. And that brings us to our last motion, which is municipal credits. Roz, you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
So, this is a contract that we do yearly. It is for our smart buses for the municipal credit and community credit contract for fiscal year 2025. This is a request for us to receive funds in the amount of $13,110.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion to have the clerk sign the Smart Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contract for fiscal year 2025 and send the completed contract to Smart.
I'll support.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Roll call, please.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Trumbull.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. That brings us to citizens' comments on everything. And please remember, we do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anybody? Marissa?
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Marissa.
June was Gun Violence Awareness Month. So I wanted to come and thank the township. I had come in here to speak previously about my neighbor Hannah St. Juliana, who was killed in the Oxford shooting, and asked for some information to be shared about gun locks. And Scott Broughton added
this, I think it was Scott who added it to the newsletter that comes with our tax statements. I noticed it on there, or okay, Jason did, thank you. I also saw it on the website recently, the information about gun locks, and I see it periodically in the Citizen newspaper, so thank you. I'd have to ask Lieutenant Glover how many people actually come and pick them up from him, but it just is helpful to me and the family to see the efforts. And I just want to share that Oxford Schools spent $3 million on an investigation into the shooting, and if anyone wants to read it, you can Google Guidepost Report. And the findings were that the school failed to perform proper behavioral threat assessment on the shooter. So gun access was definitely an issue, but he wasn't properly managed at the school level either. So these are just some things to keep in mind when dealing with someone who might pose a risk. You're looking for someone who has worsening performance at school or work, increasing isolation from family and friends, increasingly troublesome interactions with others, obsessive interest in prior attacks, bizarre changes in appearance or hygiene, asking questions about the target, difficulty coping with stress, and seeing violence as a way to solve their problems. So I just try to share that with as many people as I can in an effort to prevent this type of thing from happening again. So thank you for sharing the gun lock information, and I encourage everyone in Brandon schools to ask questions about behavioral threat assessment teams in your district to see and make sure that that's happening in case there's issues with students there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Greg?
I'll comment on the gun locks. The gun locks, the sheriff has provided them for quite a few years, and the citizens show up at the substation weekly for those locks. Luckily, with the local gun dealer, a lot of the guns are sold with locks now. But we have people come up, some people will take 2, some of them take half a dozen of them. We don't limit the number that they take. We have boxes of them, literally. So the citizens take a great advantage of that.
We've given a few dozen away here, too.
Yeah, I brought some over to give away. And then reference the threat assessment thing. I'm involved in all of our security meetings with our local high school. The threat assessments, the people that are in charge of making those threat assessments on these students, I question in my own mind, how are they qualified to make those assessments? And across the board, schools try not to involve law enforcement unless they absolutely have to, because of the different ratings that are done out. But I will tell you that Brandon schools are on top of it. The security system they've put in, premier security, being armed guards, not somebody just standing around not armed. I mean, they're steps, 10 steps above every school around as far as I'm concerned for the security that they've added, including the metal detectors that they use at different events. They literally can take them out and put them out at the football field if they want to. But Brandon's has done a great job on security here. So, just let you, okay?
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, not seeing any. We'll move on to additional board comments. Cassie, you got anything?
Nope.
Steve?
Happy
sir.
4th.
Scott?
Happy 4th.
Roz?
Happy 4th.
Bob?
Say happy 4th. Be
Dana?
careful.
Yep, happy 4th, and I'm looking forward to the fireworks this Wednesday night.
All right. I just want to say, don't forget to get out and vote on August 6th and see everybody at the polls. All right, and looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and support that, Bob. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.